I was looking at like 5 acres of land, and then I would have had to go buy like a quarter acre water rights to own water and be able to have it not be commandeered by the government in time of emergency. And the water rights were more than the land. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is just fucking wacky.
That was that
So
whole
like,
like Ammon Bundy thing, right? Is they owned all that land forever, and then the government just up and decided, well, we own all the resources underneath it, or I don't
yeah,
remember the exact case, but essentially, like they had their family had owned that land for hundreds of years, and the government just up and decided it was theirs now,
yeah.
which is so fucking evil and so corrupt. It's just disgusting.
So when I started looking at land in Tennessee, I just thought it was like that everywhere because I'd never bought empty land before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to make sure, like, how do I buy these rights? And the realtor's like, this is Tennessee. It's your property. Those are your rights
That's
for
the way it
everything.
should be.
The wood, and sometimes you don't even own right to the wood on your land.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
That's a little more edge casey, but so like I was reading about a guy who bought land with wood, and he just wanted to clear off an acre to build on, and he got in trouble. They're like, "That's not your wood to chop down, sir."
Huh. That's interesting. You know, like the natives, they didn't have private property. They had tribes, and the tribes kind of like controlled certain areas, and there was broad borders, but for the most part it kind of just was up in the air for the most part. And one of the interesting things they did was like, commies always like to point, oh, they didn't have property and well, money and blah blah blah. What they did have though is they did things the way that you're supposed to be done. Like if that's your land, that's your water. So like anybody can go into the forest that tribe controls or is near around. Anybody can use those resources. But if you make a basket out of those resources, that's your basket. Nobody has a right to come and take your fucking basket. I always thought that was pretty interesting. I don't really know why that sparked that for me, but
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, just the way civilization has evolved since then. Um, if I think about it, like the city of Rome and the Roman Empire was the biggest Western city ever
mhm.
for a while, and their population is the same as Boise.
Yeah, yeah. And
So if you have how 50,000 people living on 50,000 acres, you're not going to get there's not going to be much of a scarcity of
no,
resources in that forest.
no. And another interesting thing that I read a book about this a while back, and there's all these massive fucking meadows all over the East Coast. I've never been really to the East Coast, so I haven't seen any of this shit. But like through Appalachia and like up into the Ohio area and stuff like that, there's just these massive fucking meadows and shit. And that was all cleared out by the natives. They wanted better hunting and better farming, and they they changed the environment just like we do. But was that climate change back then when they cut down all those trees? I don't know.
I think it was warmer on average back then.
It was colder. We had a couple like so there was the medieval warming period where there was some warming, but then you had the little ice age that really fucked everything up. The interesting thing is like when you look at a
When was
timeline,
that?
huh?
When was the little ice age?
Oh, I'd have to look it up. It's within like it's after Rome. So if you look at like I can pull it up when next time you're talking, but like if you look at the timeline of civilizations of the world, all of the major peaks like Rome, Greece, like whenever things were good, it's always warm. As soon as it got
Yeah.
cold, shit goes down, production goes down, people get sick and die. Like it gets nasty. But yeah, the little ice age and so when they're showing you that hockey stick graph up and to the left, they are discounting the little ice age and the medieval warming period because if they counted those within that data, it would just, disqualify it completely. Let me look up
Yeah,
the little ice age.
I saw a chart when it was like scientists or whatever from the Washington Post were trying to prove that we're in like unnaturally warm temperatures.
Oh
It
no.
was just like a line graph of temperature over time on
Yeah.
average, and we're like below, well below the average right
Yeah.
now.
So here we go. It's wait, hold on. So the Little Ice Age was between the 14th and 19th century. Uh, it was particularly pronounced in the North Atlantic regions and was likely the coldest period in the last 8,000 years. The Little Ice Age was characterized by bitter winters and mild summers. So when you look at like here, I can send you a shot of this. So I'll text you this right now because it's fucking interesting to see. Here we go. Randall Carlson's the best at explaining this because he fucking really just like digs into the fucking Ice Age and like that's what he studies. So it's I don't know if I was able to save the photo. It might not have sent right. Let me see. This is some great fucking podcasting right here. I got it this time. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, not
Nope, that's
this.
not it either. Jesus. What is going on with this thing? I'll try a different one. Here, this is the same fucking thing. Copy. Here we go. There it is. You should have it in a second. But yeah, I mean, when you put that graph next to the like timeline of civilization, everything lines up at the same during the Little Ice Age, actually like the Times River like froze over completely. So they had these like big ice fairs right in the middle of downtown London because the entire fucking thing was just frozen. It's really interesting, like when you start looking at the actual temperatures of the Earth over the last 12,000 years. We're in an interglacial period right now. Like we're in a warm period of like an ice age, essentially, but we are still in an ice age. And like that's what everybody should be terrified of is an ice age. It's easy to cool the planet down if we needed to. If we really needed to cool the planet down, we could pull some asteroids into one of our Lagrange points and blow them up with a nuclear bomb and create a big dust cloud that would cool everything down. There's just all kinds of things you can do. It's when you need heat that you're running into trouble because then you got to build mirrors. You got to do all kinds of shit if you need more heat. Burn, whatever you can, maybe set off a volcano or something like that. But for the most part, like the cold should terrify everybody because I think we might have even played these videos back in a couple episodes. It was probably 10, 15 episodes ago, but where they were saying that, there was actually not enough CO2 in our atmosphere to have cultivation and agriculture during the Ice Age. And it's like, that's only a 10 degree difference from where we are right now or something like that. And I mean, to think that we're only 10 degrees away from losing civilization is fucking terrifying. We could go a whole lot hotter before it like actually fucked with civil. It'd make it hard to live on the coastlines if it got 10 degrees hotter, but the Earth would love it.
Yeah. I wonder if I can. So it's interesting. We both sent each other charts,
Yep, I see yours.
but I'm looking at our message thread,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just funny how because you were talking about hockey stick. Um,
The one that you sent me is a good one. It shows how much cooler we are than like first mammals, first vertebrates, like extinction. We are so much colder than it's been in the last, what is this, 480 million years? It's not even close. Like there's one point in time where we were this low. And if you ask any fucking climate scientist, like, are we getting too hot and is it too hot? Like they're all going to tell you it's too hot, but it's hard to argue with the ice cores. The ice cores fucking tell the real story.
let's see. Let me share this real quick so that the people
Sure.
at home can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so the screenshot or the picture up on the top is this bad production. All
Mhm.
my shit's behind it, but whatever.
Oh, this is good.
The one at the top is the one that's telling you about scary global warming,
Yep.
and the one at the bottom is the average temperature, the global mean surface temperature. As you can see, we're trending up a little bit, but this is way below what it has been on average
Yeah.
forever. Both of these charts are accurate, but one is used to scare you and the other one's hidden from you.
Yep. Yep. And look, 1200 BC middle, and that one up there, the middle warming period. Like
Yeah.
that's when you know, civilization 1200. What was going on in 1200? I don't really know what was going on in 1200. I'm not a fucking historian, but you know,
Probably war.
probably